Lisbon, the capital of Portugal, is one of Europe's most beautiful and cosmopolitan cities. Set over a series of hills near the mouth of the river Tagus, it's a place inextricably linked with the sea. Intrepid navigators embarked from here in the 15th and 16th centuries to sail unknown waters and chart new lands, and the legacy of this golden age of discovery underpins much of the city's culture and heritage. If you are curious about what this beautiful city carries before you planning to your next tour, well, here are the most interesting places to visit in Lisbon. Number 10. Castelo de São Jorge. Its impressive battlements, engaging museum, and fascinating archaeological site combine to make the castle a rewarding experience for the whole family, and kids especially will love clambering over the sturdy walls and towers that encircle the grounds. The victorious king built the Alcova Palace, home to subsequent monarchs until a new royal residence was constructed near the river. For the most part, visitors are happy enough to admire the fabulous views from the observation terrace that affords an uninterrupted panorama of the city, the river Tagus, and the distant Atlantic Ocean. For a different perspective, there's a camera obscura periscope, housed in one of the towers, which provides viewers with an unusual 360-degree projected view of the city below. Number 9. Mosteiro dos Jerónimos, built in honor of Portugal's Age of Discovery. A highlight of any Lisbon sightseeing tour, the 16th-century Jerónimos Monastery is one of Portugal's greatest monuments, an impressive monument of immense historical and cultural importance, declared a World Heritage Site by UNESCO. Near the riverbank in Lisbon's attractive Belém district, the monastery, also known as Jerónimos Monastery, was commissioned by King Manuel I in 1501. Built in honor of Vasco da Gama's epic voyage to India in 1498, Jerónimos is both a symbol of the wealth of the Age of Discovery and a place of worship. Construction was funded primarily by da Gama's spice trade. Among the outstanding features of the Mosteiro dos Jerónimos are the fantastically finished southern portal and the beautiful and serene Manueline cloister. Number 8. Belém Tower. Possibly the most iconic of all Lisbon's historical monuments, the Belém Tower stands in the shallows near the mouth of the Tagus River. As a symbol of Portugal's extraordinary age of discoveries in the 16th century, built as a fortress in 1515-21 and originally situated in the middle of the river, the course of the water has changed over the years. The tower represents the pinnacle of decorative Manueline architecture. Spread over several levels, the most interesting interior element is the King's Chamber on the second floor, where the space opens onto a Renaissance loggia. Climb the impossibly steep spiral staircase to the top floor tower terrace, and you will be rewarded with an excellent panorama of the waterfront and river. Number 7. Elevador de Santa Justa. An antique elevator with city views. A neo-Gothic elevator and the city's newest and most eccentric form of public transport. The Santa Justa elevator soars incongruously over the rooftops of Lisbon's Baixa district. To connect the Baixa with the Largo do Carmo in the Bairro Alto district, a trendy area of the city dotted with expensive shops, fado houses and small restaurants. Tube to the top, you'll travel in wood-paneled cabins that still feature the original polished brass instruments. The cabins creak up to a platform located just below the upper deck. From here, passengers can disembark and cross a bridge to Bairro Alto or climb the spiral staircase leading to the upper terrace. The views from the top are magnificent, offering a busy urban canvas of pedestrianized streets, picturesque and the ubiquitous castle and river Tagus. You can also enjoy a wonderful perspective of the nearby Igreja do Carmo. While you're here, it's worth exploring this quiet little neighborhood called Bica, which stretches from Calcutta do Combro/Rua do Loreto to the Tagus and densely populated buildings. Number 6. Padrão dos Descobrimentos. A tribute to the Age of Discovery. Dominating the Belém waterfront is the angular monument to the discoveries. A massive monolith that leans over the river Tagus to resemble the prow of a caravel. The sort of deliver commanded through the Portuguese navigators with inside the 15th century to chart unexplored oceans and find out new lands. The design is deliberate. This iconic structure was built in 1960 to commemorate the 500th anniversary of the death of Henry the Navigator. It is a fitting tribute to all those who actively participated in the development of the Golden Age of Discovery. Through an incredible frieze of statues placed on either side of the monument of the most prominent figures. Number 5. Day trip to Sintra Town. Possibly one of the most rewarding day trip experiences outside of Lisbon. Visit to the wonderfully romantic town of Sintra, a 40-minute direct train ride from the city center. Nestled in the foothills of the rugged Serra de Sintra, a rolling landscape of verdant forests dotted with granite boulders. This enchanting destination unfolds like a picturesque picture book of majestic royal palaces, mysterious mansions, and a mighty Arabian castle 8th century. Ahead of this attractive canvas lies Old Town, a charming array of colorful and ornate terraced houses, decorative cafes, and traditional restaurants, wedging along a maze of cobblestone. Streets have narrow streets and alleys. Sintra, once the summer residence of Portuguese kings and queens, deserves its World Heritage status and remains a destination of majestic appeal. The Sintra and Cascais small group day trip from Lisbon covers all the highlights of both Sintra and the old fishing village of Cascais. Number 4. Cristo Rei Statue. Inspired by the iconic Christ the Redeemer statue in Rio de Janeiro, the Catholic Church in Portugal decided to build its own Christ monument in Lisbon. The gigantic statue called Cristo Rei, Christ the King, also has its arms open to the city. In this way, Catholics thanked God for what they interpreted as a blessing. Even people of other faiths or people with no religious beliefs will want to visit this monument as there is no better view of the bridge. You can almost touch it from the terrace next to the pedestal, and it will feel like you are flying over it from the observation deck next to the statue. Number 3. Vasco da Gama Bridge. The Vasco da Gama Bridge, completed in 1998, is a modern engineering feat and a popular attraction. Named after Portugal's most famous explorer, it was built to relieve Lisbon's traffic congestion. The cable-stayed bridge spans almost 17 kilometers, 11 miles, across the Tagus River and is so long that its builders had to take the curvature of the earth into account when constructing it. The Vasco da Gama Bridge is 17 kilometers long across the Tagus River and 10 kilometers of which is over water, making it the longest bridge in Europe. When it was inaugurated in 1998 and is still one of the longest in the world. It is the same length as the road and rail bridge tunnel connecting Denmark and Sweden. Taking into account the curvature of the earth during its construction, that makes it a magnificent piece of engineering. Number 2. Praca do Comercio. One of the main attractions of Lisbon's central waterfront. Praca do Comercio is a wide square flanked by elegant 18th century buildings. Dom José I of Portugal lived here until the 1755 earthquake reduced it to rubble. Locals still refer to the square as Terreiro do Paco, or Court of the Royal Palace. A monument depicting the king on horseback dominates the center of the square. A great triumphal arch, completed in 1873, anchors the north side in. Number 1. Alfama. As the oldest neighborhood in historic Lisbon, the Alfama district is dotted with architectural monuments, including some from the city's Moorish past. But it's the charm of the winding streets that makes the neighborhood stand out. Delicious restaurants and fado clubs that make Alfama an unmissable destination. Full of bars and fado clubs, Largo do Cheiras de Dentro is the best place to experience the traditional Portuguese cuisine to enjoy music. The plaza is just one of observation decks dotted around this hilly neighborhood. For expansive views of Alfama and the Tagus River, visitors head to Lisbon's original Moorish entrance, Largo das Portas do Sol.